Hey, Dan Meyer here, and today we're going to talk about the 6 lessons I learned from reading the book, The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. This is one of those books that I've heard about, that I've seen, that I've always thought about reading, but just never got around to it. I've even seen Michael Gerber give a talk a couple times on stage, but I never actually read the book. And then a business partner of mine said, hey, I'm going to read this book. We should read it together so we can discuss it. So I read it, and it was a great read because it really validated a lot of what I've been doing and what I kind of have learned from my 10 years of experience being an entrepreneur. And there were some great nuggets of knowledge that I wanted to pull out. And so I'm going to share with you 6 of them, 6 lessons that I got from reading the book. And I'm going to talk about really, how I apply those lessons in what I do, how I've been doing it, how I keep doing what I do to be successful, as well as what I do with my clients. I have about 20 clients right now who are small business entrepreneurs, they're authors, they're public speakers, they're trainers. They are trying to grow their business. They're trying to really develop themselves as entrepreneurs. So I think about what we can do to help them be more successful based on these lessons. So for me, I started out in business 10 years ago. I left corporate America, set up my own business, and the first one failed. It wasn't well planned, even though I thought it was. It was well funded, but I burned through things on things I shouldn't have spent money on, bad partnerships, not having the right people around me. But I learned a lot from that first failure. And my second business I launched was much more successful. And a lot of the lessons that I learned from the first failure that have worked in businesses I've launched since then, and I've had launched 6 businesses. So a lot of the things that are in this book are things that I've been doing as well. And it's really good to validate that I'm on the right path and remind me of some of the things I need to do so I can use those to keep growing, to keep being successful as I think about additional business opportunities and think about, what I'll pivot to next, as well as, again, how to help the clients. And the first lesson I think is the most important, and the one that I actually am trying to really focus on more with my clients as I have them working with my virtual staff, my virtual assistants, trying to help them figure out how to grow their brand, how to be more successful, how to build their client base. It's trying to help them evolve as a business person, to evolve from where most of us, if not all of us, start, which is a technician, right? According to Michael, a technician is someone who has expertise, a deep knowledge in a subject area that they can then take that knowledge and that experience and then go out and offer that to other businesses to solve problems. Like for me, my deep knowledge is in data. It's in technology. It's data analytics, right? Using data to help drive decisions in a business, to be very numbers focused, to make sense of the numbers and to take actions based on those numbers. That is my superpower, right? That's what I was great at Wells Fargo. That's what I launched my first couple of businesses to do, was to use that superpower to be out there to help other businesses figure out how to be more successful. And I eventually succeeded. I grew a business to be the name brand in data analytics training in Southeast Asia. I did that for several years. I had some great clients, did a lot of amazing training, probably trained close to 8,000 analysts. Worked with over 150 companies, doing a lot of projects, a lot of really cool stuff. That was a technician. But to get to the point where I was working with all the clients, to be successful, to make millions of dollars, the technician had to evolve. He had to kind of evolve in 2 directions. He had to evolve into a manager where he's able to not just, be an expert and do the work, but to understand how to manage the work, how to plan and organize. And then he also had to be an entrepreneur to keep growing, to keep that vision, right? Most people, I think, when they go into entrepreneurship, they assume that having an idea, having a vision, means they're an entrepreneur. And all they got to do is take their technical expertise and find ways to market it and monetize it, and then they're an entrepreneur. But it's not that simple. And that's what Michael does a great job of really explaining, right? Of how you have to be able to wear all 3 hats. That to be successful, you have to understand what a manager does, what an entrepreneur does, and what a technician does. And you have to do each of them at various times. But at some point, you're probably going to be, if you're successful like me, you're probably going to delegate all the management pretty much and hire people to do all technical stuff So you focus mainly on the entrepreneurship. And that's really where the evolution has to go for a business to be successful. And a lot of people that talk about businesses, they learn that when they figure out the second lesson that Michael talks about, which is you have to learn to work on and not just in your business. Right? When you work in your business, that means you're doing the things that need to get done for the business to run. It's operational, it's technical, it's tactical, it's the nuts and bolts. It's the things that you have to do, right? And a lot of those things you as an entrepreneur, you should not be doing because they're repetitive, they're slow, they're routine, they're mundane, they're mind-numbing. Things like accounting and bookkeeping, things like scheduling, things like doing all kinds of fulfillment, follow-up. A lot of these things are not things that entrepreneurs should be doing. They should be delegating these things. So you can get from inside your business, working for your business, to working on your business, which means you're looking how to grow it, how to expand it, how to bring in new customers, how to hire better people, how to build better systems, how to do things that grow the business. That's what it means by to work on a business versus in a business. And that's the second myth that Michael really breaks down. The next is to strive to develop a lasting brand, right? Michael's done a great job of taking this one concept. He's written other books, but his primary, moneymaker is the E-Myth Revisited. And it's based on the original book, the E-Myth. And then he's spun that off to dozens of variations. He's written specialized versions of it for certain audiences, right? So he's taken, a general approach and then segmented it and divided it up so he can sell it to multiple markets, right? So he's got dozens of books that are variations of his one central theme. I think it's a brilliant idea. And it shows that he's taken the brand, the idea that you have to blow up a myth, understand what's really going on, and to be successful, you have to recognize what's reality and what's not. And this is something that he applies across all his books. And it's allowed him to build a brand around being a business expert that can help you understand as an entrepreneur where you have to go, where you have to grow to. Branding is something that every business should be thinking about, and some do it better than others. There are some amazing brands. There are some amazing color schemes. There are some amazing logos. There are some great, mottos. You think of the best, biggest, most popular, most well-known brands in the world, things like McDonald's and Disney and Apple. They have powerful, powerful brands. So I'm not going to go into details right now about how to build a brand. I've done that before. In fact, I dropped a video a couple weeks ago about building your brand. But this is something that Michael talks about, and talks about his experience, as well as shares some lessons of people he's consulted with, he's coached with, to help him. The fourth lesson really is to develop systems. And this is the one that I learned at Wells Fargo. When you work for a company as big as Wells Fargo, you see that the systems are what works, that people, unfortunately, are interchangeable. It's not about the people that make the business successful. It's about the systems that you can plug in new people and get the same thing done. This is something that basically is why franchises work, right? My mentor, Bill Walsh, always mentions the fact that 80% of entrepreneurs, small businesses, are going to fail, but 90% of franchises are going to survive because systems work, right? So Michael talks about that. He talks about how the entrepreneurial, it's really a hard word to say, model has less to do with what's done in the business and more to do with how it's done, right? So it's not the work itself, it's what goes around to make the work useful. It's a concept he talks about that I think you should really pay more attention to and think about how that applies for your business. I think about my clients, how they really have to start building systems. And what I specialize in with virtual staffing is building a virtual team that can help you grow your systems in your business to go from a solopreneur to a bigger company. I went from myself to having my first 2 virtual assistants as my first 2 employees to having over 100 employees and making over $1 million a year, all because I started building systems where I can bring people in and help them be successful in the system. Another thing that Michael said that I love is the idea that you're an ordinary person. We're all ordinary, but we do extraordinary things. And I think this is something a great discussion point. And what I interpreted from that was that Michael's saying that entrepreneurs aren't necessarily extraordinary people. They're people, but they do extraordinary things because they are able to recognize the difference in their lives based on their activities they do, based on the things they do, the patterns they establish, the habits they build, the routines they follow. Again, it's kind of like systems, but in a personal way, inside yourself. To be extraordinary It's not like you're going to be a magically better person. You're not going to be able to snap your fingers or learn something and boom, you're going to be reborn as an extraordinary entrepreneur. You have to develop that in yourself. And so Michael talks a lot about that. That's a really great lesson. The sixth lesson is you have to play an active role in your life, right? You have to be thinking about where you want to go. You got to have an eye towards the future. You want to make sure that you're trying to be proactive. You're looking at opportunities before they come up, right? So I've benefited for a couple times this in my career. I saw an opportunity that there wasn't a lot of people that were experts in data analytics in Southeast Asia about 10 years ago. And I went there and I set up a business and I was very successful in doing training for big companies across Southeast Asia. A few months back, I saw an opportunity where people were doing more work from home. They needed to grow their business working from home. Virtual assistants are the best way to do that. So I really pumped up my virtual assistant, Business Sonic VA, and that's been really well. So you play an active role. And if you want to think about a visualization of this, and Michael talks about this in his book, and I'll mention the movie, The Founder by Michael Keaton, Roy Kroc, right, the guy who invented, in a sense, invented McDonald's as we know it. He didn't start it. It was two brothers in Los Angeles that started McDonald's. But Roy built, is it Roy or Ray? Anyway, Mr. Kroc, he built a system that has been replicated so many times that McDonald's is probably the biggest brand on the planet. Everyone knows McDonald's. In every country there's McDonald's, and you get what you expect. It's not the best quality, it's good quality. It's not great, but it's consistent. You're never surprised. You get exactly what you pay for. You get the value put into it. He had a vision that he followed. Michael Gerber talks about this vision, talks about what it means to have an active role in your life. It's very vision orientated. That's the lessons I learned, right? So to have an active role in your life, to really develop your brand, to make sure you can wear multiple hats, you have to count on systems. You have to figure out what you can do to be both technician and manager and entrepreneur, to be all three in one at sometimes, and to delegate when you can't do all three. You do these things, then you're on the path of being successful. Most small businesses fail, I think, because people can't be reflective enough. They can't get inside what they're doing and figure out how to get from the inside of the business to the outside of the business. And when they're able to evolve what they're doing to be on the outside, they're going to see things that allow them to be more consistent, to have more clarity, and to have more certainty. And that's what my team does. We help our clients build this through virtual staffing, right? So everything Michael talked about these myths that need to be busted if you want to be an entrepreneur, are things that I apply, and I train my people to help businesses like yours execute so that you're able to grow your business according to your vision, to get you freed up from doing the mundane, to allow you to focus on what you do best by hiring us to do all the rest. You want to get started in that, you can go ahead and text the word DATA, that's DATA, to 26786. You can text us and you'll get a form to fill out. Tell us a couple things that you want to delegate. Could be making Facebook videos or YouTube videos, doing Facebook ads, managing your social media, doing a marketing campaign, doing graphic design, doing a newsletter, whatever it is that you want to do in your business to further your brand, to free yourself up, to be more active outside of your business, not just working inside, to evolve from technician to entrepreneur. We can help you do that. So go check out our website, sonicva.com, or text us at 26786 with the word data, and we'll get you started with a virtual assistant that will help you be able to do what Michael talks about in his book. So thank you for your time. Now I encourage you to go out there, and if you haven't read the book, read it. And if you haven't seen the movie The Founder with Michael Keaton, check that out. Those are two great resources to help you evolve, to bust the myths of entrepreneurship, and to be much more successful. So again, thanks for your time. Have a great day.